Allora. Okay, now we are live on Tribe Amsterdam group. I think. Sorry, guys, if we are already online. I'm not sure. You are now live. Okay.
Okay.
Hi, everybody. This is Somesh. I'm a friend and I'm helping my friend Jyoti to organize a retreat in Amsterdam in March about channeling. And we are here today to give a brief interview to Jyoti to get to know her better and to know a bit about her background and also about what is channeling according to her way of teaching it, and about also what's going to happen in the retreat in March if some people are interested to participate. Hi, Jyoti. Welcome.
Hi. Hi. Hi, Somesh.
Maybe, Jyoti, we can start. If you can speak a bit about yourself, about your spiritual journey, let's say, how it started, how you went through with Osho in particular, because you lived for a long time in the ashram with him. Would you like maybe to start from there?
Yeah, maybe I start even before
Yes.
my story, because somehow I find the connection with the channeling. Somehow I realized by that it was already there in my childhood. Because I always felt a presence around me. Really, it's not easy to say inside or around, because the presence was not located. And of course, you know, people told me, is your angel or is God? Everybody has an answer, even if I didn't speak about it, because for me it was very natural that everyone have the feeling of, it was a presence of love. Somehow I felt very strongly love, like, so slowly I start to give to this feeling a shape. So, and the shape changed through my childhood year. You know, maybe in the childhood it was like a toy. You know, the many children as a friend, an invisible friend. So I have this invisible friend, and it was like a toy, animated toy in the beginning. And then when I was a teenager, I felt I came across a book which was called The Third Eye, and it was very much magic about Tibet. And I was reading it, and I felt so natural. And I say, yes, of course it is like this. We are not living only one life. We must come back many times. And then I felt I want a master. I want someone that teach me about the mysteries of life. And of course I say this is not happening anymore, because the time of the masters is gone. You know, we were in the 70s, and I grew up in a very small town in Tuscany. So no esotericism was available there, totally. It was
when it was?
In the 70s. And then all my friends were very much in the politics, you know, these very hot years in Italy. And then I started to go to a class. I found out a class of yoga, private. and I start to do yoga. But this woman that was teaching yoga didn't know about meditation. She was only teaching because yoga is good for health, to keep you in shape. But then one day we say, let's try meditate. And we didn't know what is meditation. So just we put down the light and we close our eyes and we stay for 20 minutes in silence. And after a few moments, then I close my eyes, I become more quiet. And I have a very, very strong vision. I saw Buddha in the position that is saying, this mudra means don't fear, I'm here.
Wow.
And I didn't know. Then I found out the meaning of this position. But anyway, the feeling was really don't fear, don't worry, I'm here. Really, the feeling was exactly this. And then it happened that after a few months, I come across to a sannyasi woman. She was in my yoga class, and she was coming back from Pune. And she show us few meditation of Osho. And after few minutes that I was meditating, I felt I have to go to Pune. But of course, I didn't know how to do it because I was a student, nothing, no money. And also to go to India then was somehow not easy.
How old were you?
22.
Wow, young.
But I was a student in Florence of arts, so I never was thinking about going to India. But somehow I found the money, and after a few months I went to Pune. I didn't know one word in English, and anyway, it was somehow everything came together, and I reached the ashram. When I arrived to Bombay, I arrived with another Italian friend, luckily because he knew English, so we could took the taxi to go from the airport to Pune. And immediately when I came out of the airplane in Bombay, I felt I'm arrived home. I felt India like my home. And it was, in the 70s, India was somehow very different from here. And anyway, in the ashram, I saw Osho. And in the beginning, I didn't feel like this is my master because I think I have a memory of another master. I was somehow, I think, thinking to find the same. No, it was not rational, but Osho was very different from probably the masters I have before. And so it took some, I say, 1 or 2 weeks. And then I asked.
Not so much.
Not so much. I asked for not for the sannyasi. I asked only for speaking darshan with him. And immediately when I saw him in front of me, I felt I cannot wait 1 more minute to become a sannyasi. And so Osho initiated me and start my spiritual adventure. Yeah, it was a time of Pune 177.
77. And how long have you been then living in the ashram?
So from 77, I stay until the 81 when Osho went to the States. So, and then in the meantime, I met Chidilas.
Who is your partner now, right?
Yeah, my partner,
And
and he's
colleague,
also,
a spiritual
yeah,
teacher.
he will come also for the training.
Yeah.
So we stay with Osho as much as we could, because we felt this is something so extraordinary. We really have the feeling this is a extraordinary occasion, no? So we stayed there until the last day, and then Osho left. And after a few weeks or so, we came back to Italy to try to make money to go to the States.
Of course, following the master.
Always following the master. So then we went to the States. We stayed not long in the range, because it was not so easy to find so much money to stay for us. But anyway, we came and going from San Francisco, and then he came back to Bombay, and then to Pune, and we came back to Pune. So we stayed there until he left this body, and for 7 more years we stayed in the ashram after he left the body.
And how was the experience of being with Osho? How was, say, if we can say, your relationship or your experience with him? Maybe many people would like to know from direct experience how it was.
So somehow Sheet Vilas was 2 years earlier than me. And there was already a difference, because when he was there, it was very personal, because few people. When I arrived in the 77, a big wave of people started. So I met him many times personally in the darshan, living darshan. And every time I have all these meetings, they stay really in my memory, like stepping stones in my spiritual journey, because he say a few words. And also for me, at that time, English was even worse than now. But somehow we understood each other very well. For example, when he gave me sannyas, he told me a few things in English, and I don't know how I understood everything. I remember each words.
What did he tell you, if you like to share?
He said, he described my essential being and my path. In a very simple way, he said, your name is Prem Jyoti. Prem means love. Jyoti means flame. And then he say, let you burn in the flame of love.
Wow.
And it is like, it was describing somehow a Sufi path.
Yeah, it's like
the path of love. Your path is
surrender.
Love. You say your path is love, your dimension is love. But of course, it's difficult to recognize in the beginning your path, because somehow, somehow we are hiding our deepest nature, because is a very we feel very fragile in our authenticity. You know, what is authentic in us, in the society, somehow is not good. For example, to be too much loving is not, you look like a stupid, if you like everybody and, you're always open, you are never suspecting, you trust, you should not be like this. So somehow you learn how to hide your gift. That's why it became very difficult lately to recognize them. Because when you are manifesting your gift, So you are manifesting your divine nature. You are very vulnerable also.
Yeah.
You are very vulnerable if you don't recognize as a quality, you know.
And then it
It's a
becomes
trick.
difficult between to belong, let's say, with others, and at the same time hide our true nature, or be with our true nature, but disconnect from society. Many spiritual seekers, they experience this conflict.
So I think is because our culture is not really recognizing the gifts. You somehow what you recognize that you should fit, you know, in the diktat of the society. You should, for example, now in these days, you must be, as a woman, you must be very, you know, strong and assertive and, you know, almost masculine. And you have always to somehow criticize everything, and you know. So if you feel different, you feel, my God, I must be very stupid because I don't understand. For example, all my friends, they were very much in politics. And they were all very angry all the time, you know. So I didn't fit so much, you know. I felt, my God, I'm stupid. I don't feel so angry about life. That's why when I reached India, you know, India was so much out of all the rules, really much somehow crazy, you know. People went around in a very absurd clothes, for example. Nobody care about how you go around.
It's much more free than.
Yeah, much more free. Before it was really free, because as a Western, they think you are anyway crazy. So you have the freedom you want.
And talking about gifts, how did you develop, or how it came to you, let's say, the channeling in your experience? Well, because that's one of your gifts that you're sharing.
Yeah, it's a gift that I never suspect I have this gift, because, you know, I was in Florence in a artistic school, you know, so I see myself like as an artist, not like a psychic or a medium. And so somehow my ego is not fitting with my gift, let's say. So when Osho left India the first time, we came back to Italy, but we were really lost, you know, because, you know, we didn't, after like 3, 4, she was 5, even more, 7 years in India, you are really lost. You don't know what to do. You don't know how to make money. You don't know how to fit, where to go. So we knew about a medium in Torino. There was a medium called Vera Chiesa. She's not there anymore. And somehow she helped many sannyasi. And she said, you are a medium, but you are afraid of your gift. Because I must say, at that time, many times I felt like something strange is happening, and I was afraid to go crazy. I think my subtle body, they were somehow expanding in some moments. I don't know why, and like everything is entering in me. And I was very afraid, because this was happening more and more. And she told me how to do not to go into this kind of feeling. And so I follow her suggestion, and then we find a way to come back to India in a very, very like miraculous way, because when you live with the master, somehow miracles are happening, or you start see the miracles of life. I think every life is a miracle, but normally we don't see, because our mind only want to see, a very small part of reality. But with the master, you open your vision and you start to see the magic of life. Now I lost myself.
I asked you, how came to be your gift, so the channeling.
Okay, so she told me like this, and then we went back to the States, and there was a moment when we were in San Francisco, and again it was very difficult moment. I don't remember the circumstances, but somehow I felt I need help. I don't know what to do. So I opened a book of Osho, a Darshan diary, and I say, okay, the page that I open, there will be an answer from Osho. So I open this page. The Darshan diary is the personal talk with disciples. So question and answer. And he was teaching how to do automatic writing. So I say, okay, if this is what come to me, I have to practice. So I took a piece of paper, a pencil, I close my eyes, I make emptiness, the mind silent, and then I start to write. In the beginning, it was a little bit confusing, because words without meaning. And then I say, but I remember I was in Torino with this medium. She told me I have a spiritual guide with a name. So I say, okay, I ask to this name, not just existence. No, somehow I have to focalize my question, and immediately an answer came, very clear, very simple and very clear. Somehow it was suggesting me to change my attitude towards this moment and this problem, just to change attitude. And the next day, somehow the problem dissolved. And I say, my God, this is so simple, but this is a very important and precious tool. So I start to practice only when I really need it, because I knew it is not something that I have to use for curiosity or just to play, because I really felt what is answering me is a very sacred power. It is something very sacred. So when I really need it, when I do all my best and I didn't find any solution, so I start to ask my guide. And so I always find some words, some suggestion. Then I went back to Pune. We meet again with all the friends after 5 years that we were around the world. And then I start to say to my closest friend, look, sometimes I do this, I connect with my guide, and this is what she said, because it was like a woman guide. And so they start saying, no, do this to me, please, do this to me. In the beginning, I didn't believe I could, and then I start, and I'm very grateful to the Sangha, to the community of sannyasi, because now somehow they allowed this gift to come to light, because asking me and giving me always feedback, you know. And then one day someone wrote to Osho. I received channeling from Jyoti, and this channeling told me this and this. And Osho was always not so much in favor of esoterics. He used to call esoteric bullshit. So I was very afraid that Osho came to know what I was doing, no? Because he said, my God, he will tell me I'm a stupid fantasizing something.
Yeah, of course.
And instead he say, Jyoti speak from her heart, you know. He gave me energy. So I felt totally, you know, entitled. And then I was called from the Mystery School.
What was the Mystery School?
The Mystery School was the esoteric branch of the multiversity. The multiversity in Pune was somehow a university, let's say, that was taking care of all the different approaches to the human inner growth. Included all the body work, all the groups, and also in the end, also the esotericism, because Osho say I cannot refuse to do also this, because even if it is a little bit dangerous, because it's very easy for people to go in their minds and to start to fantasize, but it is also a faculty that human being has, and we must somehow develop also this.
Yeah, not to ignore it.
Not to ignore it. And so I start to give sessions of channeling, and very successful. I've much more people than what I could manage. So they asked me, why don't you teach? So you create few more channelers.
Which year was that one?
I think 88.
88. Okay.
88, 89. Then I didn't know what to do, but somehow I felt, you know, they told me somehow what to do. It is very simple. In the beginning, it started with few steps, very simple steps.
Which are the same that we are going to do in the first retreat in Amsterdam, right?
Yeah. Because the training start, you know, now I do 3 intensive, you know, but to create the first intensive in Pune, it took years because somehow we were growing together. Also you know, I learn and the people learn, and from learning a new understanding arrive, because this teaching is like downloading. Still is not, you know, still is downloading. And this is why, for me, it's very important to, when you do channeling or anything that is esoteric, also Reiki, anything esoteric, you have to go for yourself for a spiritual path. Because our society, modern society, it is totally not esoteric, you know? So we must learn again the mysteries of life, but we cannot learn from another master. It's very difficult to find somebody that teach you this. is it is the source that is going to reveal those things again. I don't know
from
if I
inside
make
out.
sense. Yeah.
So we need to learn
Because
to become more receptive to this downloading of information, this opening from inside out.
See, yeah, but
If I
they don't
understand
come.
right.
Yeah, it's like this. But this stuff, they don't come if you are not ready.
Better actually.
Eh?
Better actually that they come only if you're
Yeah,
ready.
better. And probably it's because it was abused in the past. You know, maybe there are secret schools that are, you know, in the Tibet, there are monks that know how to travel, to be somehow in different places without the body and all this stuff, you know. But somehow nobody is knowing how to do in the West anymore. This kind of stuff are totally lost. It's
And
not what we want to do.
and with the channeling, so you said that you were starting to develop how to teach it, and what if someone is curious and wants to know why to learn channeling, if it feels connected to what you say, or this that as a feeling or something beyond, let's say, what we normally know, what could be the benefit or the most important thing that you can experience through opening to the channeling, how you teach it? Because there is also a lot of confusion. Many people think that channeling, or there are forms of channeling that are about opening to entities or other psychic entities, and that many people hear stories about medium that they have bad experiences. But for what I experienced with you, you do something very different, very much linked with meditation and also with non-duality, because you are also an Advaita teacher.
Yeah, so we must make a difference between medium and channeling. This difference somehow I make.
Yes.
Normally I didn't read in any book, but medium, it is the classical connecting with people, dead people. Your grandmother or people that died and you want to connect again. And it normally is very psychic. You use your psychic power. Channeling is you are using your spiritual channel, not your psychic channel. The psychic channel is the channel of psychic power. You know, it's very esoteric. But what I'm teaching, and this is what can download, you know, is to open the spiritual channel. The vertical line. The connection with the source, the ultimate source. It is the connection with the divine light in us. It is the connection with our own eternity or our higher self. So when
that
you
it can take a form or not in our mind about a teacher or an entity, but it's not really connecting with these psychic entities like the medium do. It's like to connect with a deeper space in ourselves.
Yeah, because you know, when you die, you know, you must understand that our identity is made, of course, the body. But when the body die, it's not that our identity die. The identity is also created by our minds and memories and our emotions. The astral body and the mental body, they create like a body, a subtle body, which has somehow an energy, in individual energy. If you are not somehow living in peace, like a spiritual being in peace, that you are, you know, complete. The subtle body don't die and need to somehow to reincarnate to complete the journey.
Okay.
So the medium is connected with this subtle body.
Mhm.
And the subtle body is somehow cannot really help you because it's also in the journey.
Yeah. So it's more partial, the understanding that
Yeah,
comes from
maybe
the...
he knows something because it is in another position, but it cannot really help. Sometimes it's also not pleasant.
Mm.
But if you connect the source, of course, it manifests as an entity. For example, for me, it manifests like a Buddha.
Mhm.
You know, because mind needs some object to recognize, you know. So it will manifest like an angel or a Buddha. Even when you die, you feel a presence beside you.
Mhm. Mm.
You know, for example, in the Christianity, this is Michael, the angel Michael, that is taking you and defend you against the devil and take you to God, you know, somehow, no?
Mhm.
Somehow there is some truth in this.
But what we are
Okay.
going to do also in the first training is to open the vertical channel, right? So to connect with
we
the
open
higher
this,
self.
we open this channel to connect with the source, and we will learn a meditation that is a meditation to connect.
Mm.
And then I give the initiation, and this initiation somehow is an initiation for this kind of channeling.
Mm. Mm.
When you do this channeling and you somehow you become open in the vertical line, then if you are a very gifted psychic, this can manifest, but it will manifest in the right light. It will not manifest in the service of your ego, but it will manifest in the service of light. Because this vertical channel is a channel of light somehow. Somehow you put yourself in the service of light. It's a very devotional.
Talking about light, can you switch on your light because you're getting dark on the video?
Because it's getting, now it takes some time before.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
there
then
is
you
one
start to
side is
disappear,
really light. Yeah.
and the other one.
Maybe I go and light the one. Okay.
Yeah, much better.
Strange colors now, eh?
What I remember when I did the first intensive with you is that it's very meditative, and it's very much connected also with the non-dual path that you also teach. So with the Advaita teaching, can you maybe explain the connection between channeling, how you do it, and the non-dual path?
Because, you know, the non-dual path is not so easy to understand for the mind, no? Because mind divides. And to understand that there are no individual, but there is only God, let's say, only the source, is not easy for the mind. And of course, this is reflected in channeling. In channeling, in the beginning, people really want to find some entity, some friend. And this is okay because in this existence, there are also very plan, subtle dimension of existence. So I don't deny the possibility that really there is an entity coming to help us. This I always felt, so I cannot deny. But this is not the aim. The aim is to connect yourself directly to source. The source manifesting in you is your guru, is your teacher, is your master, is your guide. You don't need an entity. If entity manifests is okay, but then you see that everything is divine. Everything is a form of the same one, So somehow I felt that more you are clear in what is real beyond duality, more you can penetrate those mysteries, and the channeling become more and more powerful. For example.
For what do you think is the best, let's say, benefit for your experience, or for someone who wants to join the retreat to learn this method? Because in reality, it's a method in steps to open the vertical channel and to connect with this deeper. Because in my experience, it gave me much more depth in connection with myself, let's say, with my deeper self, and in how I experience daily life, and also let's say for my work, because it's also useful to do the channel for ourselves, but also for other people. It's possible then to help other people, and that's what we are going to practice also with you in the training.
So the first thing is for yourself. When you connect and your connection become more and more deep, you really feel a guidance inside. So somehow it's like taking away a lot of ignorance. Yeah. So for example, what I do now, what should I choose, where I to go? Slowly, all this is dropping out, and you really feel the connection with life, and you start to see the meaning of life, the meaning of what is happening somehow to you, why the things are happening, and somehow you see the bigger picture. You are not confined in your small problem, why to me, and everything is happening always to. Somehow you open and you become
a channel,
but also more intelligent, I think. Less lost in your vision. Then, if this is your gift, because not everybody has a gift of a channeling with words, because channeling open your gift. So, for example, if you are more gifted in giving healing, energetical healing, this will come. But anyway, you will much know how to help people, what to say, what to suggest, or also to give channeling. Because in the first 3 days, this first intensive is 3 days, in the end you do the first connection, so you can go with your what you say, you will be able to have your connection by yourself. You are independent. Of course you can ask for session if you want, but you can have your independence in this. You can connect with your guide if you want. And then also what is happening in Italy, that people that has finished all the steps, we meet one a month, and we give some channeling, which is very beautiful. And there are beautiful answers that somehow the people help each other in a very simple way. And it is amazing how it is coming. I somehow was surprised myself because in Zoom, I didn't believe you can really, do this kind of stuff. But then I experienced that is coming. So it's very beautiful. So you can also have a support then by other people that are connected.
Path.
Because when you are a group, the connection is stronger.
And the energy field that we create together.
Yeah, and also you receive more clarity. Somehow there is more clarity. And this is good because then when you go home, somehow the channel is more open.
Yeah, I noticed it also in my experience. It gave more depth to also the spiritual path I'm doing non-duality, and also helps to be more sensitive to intuitions, or like you said, in also subtle sensations or subtle energies. They become more clear to be perceived. So I noticed that it amplifies, like you said, the natural talents that someone has, because all of us have that. So it's like an amplifier. And
somehow it's a pity that a human being is almost a god, because we have so many gifts that are not in any way developed now. That's why we are becoming a very materialistic society. Because we don't feel, for example, how important can be like a plant, you also have one. You don't feel, the society don't feel the subtle life that is happening around. Don't give any, they don't recognize, so they cannot respect. And it is what is making our life beautiful and rich. Not only rich because you have money, but in the real sense. So to do channeling is really somehow, for me, also a service to society.
And also, I found that it's beautiful because in daily life, living in society, not with a sangha or an ashram, you feel like a salmon who goes upstream with all the energy, goes in the other direction. And to have the channeling, practicing it also as a meditative tool, I noticed that helps me to be more in a meditative state also during daily life. And I noticed that it's like that erases the sense of duality in a gradual way. Like with I don't know in English the word with gomma. No, you start to erase more and more with a rubber, with plants or other people, or even with objects or things. So I see it really like a tool that helps also for who is already in a non-dual path. And also I find it very practical for people who work with people as well, because it makes it more acute, the senses, the subtle senses, and like you said, helps to experience life a bit more from above or from a wider and deeper perspective. That is my experience. That's why I invited you to come to Amsterdam for the channeling retreat that will be which date in March?
It's going to be the end of 25, I think.
March 25, 26, and 27 of March. So 3 full days, morning and afternoon. So 2 sessions per day. Quite intense, because it's like 6 hours of work.
I normally I was doing this in 7 days. Then it become weekends. But now I feel also is important to go faster. So it's very intense, but I really see it works. This intensity works.
Yeah.
And we cannot do less than 3 days
Mhm.
because it is really the minimum, but it's really, yeah, you learn how to live in a vertical way.
Line more than horizontal, and that's the step one. So the first course, and then you said there is also the second and the third. Maybe briefly, if you can say a few words about the second step and the third, which are not obliged, because someone can come just for the first course and you already come out with something like with a circle that is closed, now with something concrete for yourself.
Yeah. The first is somehow complete in itself. But if you want to go deeper into the subtle energy, the subtle body, to understand a little bit more esoteric, because there is so much there that we don't know, and some remain unknowable. About to feel the subtle body, what they are, and of course, I use the map of the chakra from Patanjali, from the yoga, because it's very simple, it's very clear, and is actual. It's very modern. Because you need to have a map to go into this journey. So there will be 2 more intensive. One is more about the subtle body and the survival in this planet, the first chakra, the first steps. And then the second is more about the subtle plane, the spiritual chakra.
It's like each one of the 7 chakras, they correspond to wider and thinner bodies.
Yeah.
So we don't have just a material body, but also more subtle and spiritual bodies.
Yeah.
So we go through them.
Through also, we go through these subtle bodies that we know also in our life, you recognize. These are the bodies that also create trouble, because and then we go into the more esoteric, like the third eye, so the capacity, unsuspected capacity that we already have, because it's very nice. We know without knowing. And we will really see this in practice,
So in the next 2 levels, we are going to explore the 7 chakras and in which body they correspond in a practical way.
And also the guide, how the guide can help in the different plane of life, how they can help, and what kind of guides living or manifest in a different plan of existence, because there are different kind of for example, in the 5th chakra there are the spiritual guide, for example,
and the throat.
In the 6th chakra there are the masters, or in the heart there are the light being, etc. And in the other chakra there are more these somehow these people, they didn't complete yet the journey, so you can connect with this kind of
it's also helped to have a more precise reading when you do a channeling on yourself, on someone else, if a problem comes more from the 1st chakra, so the grounding, or on the 2nd chakra, relationship feelings, or 3rd chakra about power struggles, or the 4th chakra about the centering yourself more in a
the heart is also about friendliness, about trust.
There is still something else that you would like to say in conclusion or to share? I think we covered more or less what we wanted to share for people to get to know you better and get to know your work. And so as an invitation for the retreat in March, or there is still something that you would like to share? Or say, or is okay like this?
I think we cover very much
Okay.
Yeah, I can say one thing that I myself am surprised how quick the people learn. And they really immediately, my experience is that after they do channeling, this kind of flavor come into their life,
Yeah,
the flavor
correct.
of a divine presence, a divine friend, this vertical.
And also to trust more the information we receive continuously in form of images or thoughts, also that are a quality which is more clear or more sometimes more authoritarian even. Do this, but from the heart as well.
This is a very important piece, to trust what come to you, to see that you already know, to recognize that you already see and that you already know. This is very important. Yeah.
And another thing I noticed working with you is that it's not that we learn something from you, but that you facilitate the recognition in ourselves of what we already know. So it's not really a learning from outside in, but just like you remind us, yeah, true, I know this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot about it. When I was a child, I remember that. So it's more that you are like a mirror that help us to recognize our own qualities and this natural capacity. Like, I have an arm, I can move it. Yeah, it's true, I forgot.
It's like awaking few power that you already have. They are dormant.
Yeah,
but
correct.
They're there.
Yeah.
Because and this is what we will do, because if I recognize in you, this is enough to awaken. And then when you recognize in you, you help someone else to recognize it, This is the chain that come. It is
like
enough
in
if
satsang,
you recognize. Yeah.
Like in satsang.
We are all doing satsang without knowing. But it's also in the negative way that we do satsang sometimes, if we are negative and blah, 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 you can somehow infect these people. So it's very important to come to the truth, because truth is always in bliss. The truth is always happy. What makes you unhappy means it's not true. This is a fundamental.
This is satsang.
Rule. Okay. So
thank you very much, Jyoti, for the sharing of today. And see you then in March in Amsterdam.
Okay.
For whoever wants to still join the retreat with Jyoti, there is in the link. I will put the link in the comments with the event, and where there is my email, you can contact me and I will explain you about all the practicalities, or if you have any other questions you can ask me. Okay, thank you, Jyoti. Have a nice day.
I look forward to see you guys in Amsterdam.
Yeah, we the same.
Okay.
Bye. Ciao. Ciao.
Bye. Ciao.